leadership? Quite simply, we need much more of it. Right? I think that's the headline thought, if any. Right? That actually speaks to the fact that A, it's in short supply, B, it's highly valued, right? And C is that it's not going to happen miraculously. I think people need to make it happen, right? To me, those are pretty much the three thoughts that really come when you talk of women leadership. Outside of that, leadership is leadership, right? Different things work with different people, different circumstances, different organizations, right? And there's no one template or one way to do this, in as much as even for men. So I don't see big difference there between men and women leadership. It's individual style, it's individual accomplishment, competence. All that has to come together. It just need to come together in a much higher order than we've seen so far, right? Nothing specific other than just being grounded, pragmatic, and creative on almost every hour, every day, right? Saying you just have to get through this. There's not going to be some miraculous, the ocean's not going to open up and let you walk through. You just have to find ways, right? And that's, it becomes a part of your character, it becomes a part of how you do things. But I would say just that, just being pragmatic and being creative and sometimes patient, right? About getting there, not too patient. So that's all I can say, right? That's probably certain skills that are cultivated over, I can't say I was born with any one of these, but you learn over a period of time. That's the way to make things happen for yourself, right?
Okay.
It's important to understand the difference, right? Not in theoretical terms, but in relation to yourself, your stage of life, the circumstances that you are, the cards that you're being dealt with in life, and more importantly, also, the opportunities, being able to spot the opportunities and saying, is this a job that I need to do, or can I build a career around this, right? So to me, being aware of the cards you're being played is very important first to understand, are you in a job, are you in a career, right? Having understood that and being observant about, where your position today, you have to make some calls, right? There are times you will just do it as a job because it helps your career at the end of the day, right? There are things you'll do that, are investments to a career, right? But there's simply no templated way again to approach this. You have to look at what you're going to get out of it, right? Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's satisfaction, sometimes it's just the joy of being with people that you enjoy working with. I mean, different times, different things. But the job versus career thing is really about a long-term goal, right? Career to me is something that's really long-term. It does not have to be single track. It can be endure, it can come back, right? The job is a little more short-term view of it, but still gainful, right? It's not going to be harmful to your career in any way at the long-term journey, but it can be a detour, it can be something completely different. It's fine, right? As long as you know how to get back on track, do it, right? Clarity of goals is, I won't stress too much on it, right? Nobody, even me, could have conceived even 5 years ago what I would be doing 5 years hence, right? So in a way, I think I go back to being observant, right? You go back to being observant. Yes, overall, there is a life plan that's always in your head. What should ideally like to be doing? You'd rather do this than do this. I mean, you have these thoughts morning, day and night, right? I've had sometimes 5 wishful careers in a day, right? Oh, I wish I could do this, in afternoon I would do this, right? So it's wishful thinking, but that doesn't mean it's dreamy and absurd, right? It's got to be something that your inner voice is telling you, you wish you could do this. And over a period of time, ideas start to crystallize, right? So I'm not a big believer in setting major goals and just going after it. I think goals are more short-term in my case, and short-term I mean like a year, 2 years maybe, and then see how things go. But I'm not going to leave it to destiny. I'm not going to leave it to circumstances and some benefactor. I'm going to take charge at each step, right? So in some way, goals, I don't think I conform to the traditional sort of sense of long-term goals and make this happen. Talk about what I'm doing now, right? It's just something that coming closer to the age of 50 strikes you. you're not young anymore, but at the same time you have enough energy to actually go do something else that you want to do. You've gotten sort of, I wouldn't say bored, but a little too familiar, right, with what you're doing now. And that's what sort of, in my case, really sparked the thinking, saying, here's a great opportunity, right, to bring what I've done, right, to bear on a field that I've known really nothing about. Actually, I had a lot of misconceptions and a lot of strong feelings about philanthropy. I said, I have to get past that, test the waters. I read some amazing things about people doing it. It's about time I go try it, right? And it seemed like all my business sense told me it needed help. There was a great opportunity, right? And there was I think more than anything else, a great deal of satisfaction, right? So that's it. With just those few sort of, I would say just some bubbles in the air about these things, I just stepped in, and it's been an awesome 8 months since, I've sort of gotten into this much deeper. So goals, ask me what I'll do 2 years from now, and I'd be totally wrong if I told you anything. Right? Not to be shy about doing what you're doing. And when shy, I don't mean the coy, the shy, whatever. I'm just saying nothing is your right? At the same time, you always have to work with the notion that you deserve better, right? You have it in you to deserve better. So it's up to really the individual. I put a lot of focus on the individual, right? Whatever the circumstances, right? To set pragmatically, given the circumstances, I can definitely do this. I'm not looking for excuses, right? I can get this done, so let me find ways to get this done, right? On an almost day-to-day living basis, that's how you up your career. Quickly you turn around, a year's gone by, and you actually gotten a lot done, right? And hey, you're ready for the next step, right? But aside that, I think there are, I don't want to be bookish, or all of us have read this enough about women getting out there, raising their hand, and networking and all that. Yes, I subscribe to all that. All that has to be done. The lean-in sort of debate, I absolutely believe all that has to be done. But I think the one thing I think, if I can leave behind to up your career, is getting more comfortable with raising your hand, right? It's a damn unused muscle in a woman's body, right? And I think learning to do that, the rest will follow. Once you've raised your hand, the rest will follow. You have it in you to deliver, right? Once you've stood up and put your hand up. So to me, that's the only way to up a career, right? Rest is natural. If you've done that first step, rest becomes easy actually. So keep it simple. Just raise your hand and you feel that you should.